One microphone? Or?
I got two.
You got two, right?
Yep. Same as last time, but I've got an improvement. I've got a headphone amp, which just like gives you like radio quality foldback in the outdoors, which is great. It's your phone. I can loan you a next mic if you need.
No, this is.
If you have any problems.
No, this is good. It's just. This thing, everything's.
Yeah. Every time you have to broadcast from the grandstand seating area, it's always like an obstacle course.
I didn't get ready. I've got problem. My bus matches that all the time. Yeah, so we're going to be one like that.
My name into like the team sheet or the lineup and
Hey, let's go, eh? What's the score? So you look at 2-1.
Swap this for Oakleigh KJC. Number 11, William Hicks. 16, Max Medetto. 31, George Vitzios. Number 4, Brady Boyce. Number 6, Jake Leopolis. 25, Roy Gregory. 2, Jordan Hall.
Yeah.
Number 3, Connor Hanson. 18, Noah Holmes. 47, Assad Asurovich.
1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
20, Luke Mensing. Number 9, Alex Savage. Number 5, Jacob Trapp. 22, Stefan Baldi. 21, Brendan White. Squad list for Moreland City FC. Number 22, Santo Ague. Number 23, Newman Ali. Number 5, Kurt Arroll. Number 17, Marco Canatelli. Number 27, Ed Croucher. Number 21, Diego Cuba. Number 19, Kazra Karaman. Number 6, 16, Hawaii Michael. Number 1, Alexander Connolly on. Number 12, Matt Spall. 2, Rahul Suresh.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
7, Christos Theodorakopoulos.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
11, Ake Kudo. 18, Richard D. Waters. 4, Michael G.
1, 2, 3, 4. And the volume goes up now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, welcome to CB Smith Reserve in Faulkner in Melbourne, Corporate Suburbs this afternoon. The old Victoria round 25, the penultimate round of competition.
Games of the round, Moreland v Oakleigh. Is that loud enough? Or a bit louder?
1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Similar? Yep. Perfect. Thanks, Camilo. Great work. hello and welcome. CB Smith Reserve is the scene this afternoon for this match in Melbourne's northern suburbs, the suburb of Fawkner, playing host to the penultimate round of NPL Victoria for season 2024. Today's combatants, the home side, Moreland City, taking on the Oakleigh Cannons. A fascinating match with Moreland City. Well, not much to play for them, and we're just going to pause for a moment's silence here. An impeccably observed a minute silence before the kickoff here at CB Smith Reserve. Moreland City, after a week off last week, they tasted a hefty defeat out at Paisley Park, 6-3. They welcome back some experienced faces into the starting 11 today, while the Oakleigh Cannons, what a fortnight it's been for them, going down last Saturday in the Doherty Cup final on a penalty shootout against South Melbourne. But before that, a fantastic night, a cup set against the all-conquering, and the cup holders as well, Sydney FC, in the Australia Cup out at that same venue, the home of the Matildas. And they refreshed the squad a little bit today for Chris Taylor's men. But looking forward to how this one plays out over the next 90 minutes. My name is Steve Curtin, looking forward to bringing you all of the action on the Football Victoria live stream this afternoon. And it's a pleasure once again to be joined by Peter Paleologos. Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon, Steve, and good to see you in an interesting match today. Obviously, Moreland have been relegated, but Oakleigh have a lot to play for. They're in third position. And really, the last 2 weeks, maybe 3, of Victorian NPL football has been just seminal, compelling. You mentioned the Australia Cup, we've got finals coming up, and just really excitement and buzz, and the Doherty Cup, which I was actually at the home of Matildas, where that penalty shootout with South Melbourne. Oakleigh will be a bit disappointed, but it can be a lottery.
That's right, the game was possibly there for Oakleigh for the taking, but going to a shootout, and Harvey Lopez stood tall, saving those spot kicks from Jordan Hall and Jacob Tratt to ensure that South Melbourne won the 100th running of the Doherty Cup final. The team lineups are in, both teams making 4 changes from their last outing. So for Moreland City, they line up with Alex Condolian in goal. Corey Thomas returns to the defence alongside Newham Ailey. In defence, also Aidan Croucher. Also out there is Dean Waters, Karamad, Diego Cuba, who scored on their last outing at this venue against Heidelberg United. Christos Theodorakopoulos in the number 10 role, the front 3. Matt Spall, Shadir Thargiath, and a return to the starting 11 for Apia Akuno. And there's 4 changes. So we said for Oakleigh Cannons, we see Brendan White lining up in goal. Connor Hampson gets a start at left back. Jordan Hall and Jacob Tratt and Brodie Boyce, the other members of the back 4. Cam McGill wears the captain's armband today in defensive midfield alongside Noah Holmes. There's a start for Max Bassetto, who starts in the number 10 role to replace Joe Guest, who's been rested this afternoon. On the wing, Stefan Valentini aside Kasumovic, and Alex Salmon, who scored a double in their last league outing. A 3-1 win over the Melbourne Knights a fortnight ago. And they've got the first free kick of the afternoon here. It is the all-white kit for the Oakleigh Cannons, attacking the northern end of the venue. It's floated into the back post area. Condolian got some fists on it. So Oakleigh attacking the northern or Dukes Road end of the venue here, the right of your screen. Moreland City attacking the major road end, the left of your screen, or the city end of CB Smith Reserve. And well, the pitch, it looked like it was in quite a state at Moreland's last match, where it pelted down rain in that narrow loss, 3-2 to Heidelberg United in stoppage time. But it's come up pretty well, so credit to the staff here who've got this pitch up and running. It sees a lot of traffic throughout the season, and it should complement both teams' style of play this afternoon as Jordan Hall switches to play out wide to Connor Hampson, one of the successful penalty takers in the shootout last Saturday. But we'll see a throw here for Moreland City on the halfway line.
Yes, it's a CB Smith, a very historic venue, been used by over the years in Victorian or Melbourne football, and it's good to see the pitch stand up today. I know the 23s played in the artificial pitch just across here. But, yeah, well, look, it's an interesting match. I mean, Oakleigh, you've mentioned, made 4 changes, but that also reflects their depth, where they went into the transfer market, and I think 3 players that came in mid-season, or a bit after mid-season, are actually in the squad today. Steve.
They've certainly made some timely acquisitions to their defence. They also welcomed Jacob Aliopoulos back from his European honeymoon adventures back to the matchday squad today. This ball's floated in. The header was by Cuba. This is a Kuno. He's got Brody boys to beat. Fighting with Aramad. Here's Waters. This is Croucher. All the way back to Condolian. Well, the pressure's off Moreland today. They just go out there and express themselves, you fancy, and they start to make plans for a return to Victoria's second tier next season. Speaking to some of the club officials here as well, I was assuming this would be their last match at CV Smith Reserve for a little while. They may in fact play here again next season rather than returning to Coburg and playing at Campbell Reserve there in Moreland Road. So that's interesting. So I was assuming that they would be happy to go back there, but this may be the venue going forward for 2025, even in Victoria's second tier. So be keeping an eye on that one.
Just looking at the formations, pretty much Oakleigh, the 4-2-3-1. Pretty much, I would say Cristal has used that quite a bit this year. Moreland look a little bit more attacking. They've set up a little bit not as defensive. More players in midfield. Maybe got Kuna up front, so could even be a 3-5. I can't tell at the moment, but I will get that formation for you.
Second free kick of the game. This one's taken quickly. It was well won by Max Basetto, playing against his old team today. Here's Kasumovic out wide on the left. Used to seeing him playing up the right flank. He supplied a superb assist for Alex Salmon 2 weeks ago in their last league fixture against the Melbourne Knights to get them back in front in the last 10 minutes of that clash. Touch for Noah Holmes, who comes in to replace Oliver Kublai, who's been given a spell today as well. Kublai also scored a particular fixture as well 2 weeks ago. Not a prolific goal scorer, but he got himself in the right place at the right time. And here's Cuba's ball forward. It's only as far as Jacob Tratt, another one of those key pickups that you mentioned, Peter, in the mid-season transfer window from the A-League outfit Western United.
Yeah, Jacob Tratt, Jordan Hall, and Max Basetto, as you mentioned earlier, all playing today, all mid-season or mid-season signings. So we know that Theodorokopoulos, this is ex-club Moreland, has also come across again to finish the season with Moreland from Manningham, where he actually probably 7-8 goals there, so one of the leading strikers in the NPL.
Let's ball forward, looking for Basetto. Running at Corey Thomas, who kept his eye on the football and made a good challenge. Here's Matt Spall, the boy from Bendigo, getting a start today. Played forward by Ewan Ailey, the former North Sunshine Eagle. Salmon with the deft touch, but he couldn't play the 1-2 with Noah Holmes. And Moreland could be in here. Theodorokopoulos' long diagonal ball. One to chase for Appier Akuno. He's got some support behind him, coming in the shape of Karamad. Theodorokopoulos. And his pocket picked by the acting captain, Cam McGill. This is Diego Cuba. And Cam McGill again showing his game smarts, winning the ball back and supplying it out the front of Asad Kasumovic. And Oakleigh can go from defence to attack here in the blink of an eye. Kasumovic switching the play. Valentini was the target, away by Croucher. Hayden Croucher, the former Box Hill defender, started at right back last match. He's showing his versatility at left back this afternoon. And here's another good left back playing the ball in, but the cross was all too close to Alex Condolian and well fielded by the young goalkeeper, who turns 21 in 9 days' time. And I think that'll sync up with the Mad Monday for Moreland City, Peter. That could be a really big day
It could be a
Alex.
very Mad Monday for Moreland and maybe Manningham, or obviously St Albans. But look, it's interesting because we didn't know what the relegation would happen.
Yeah.
We had the B-League, and we'll talk a bit about this later, Stephen, but we didn't know what was going to be the structure of the NPL next season, depending on what happened with the B-League. But right now, it looks like Moreland is going to be relegated, at least. We don't know what happens with the other clubs. But, yeah, Mad Monday. And it's interesting you mentioned the thing with Moreland is, if they are staying at CB Smith Reserve, that's a bit of ambition to say, okay, we may give it another go, because it is a facility, one of the premier facilities, I would say, in Melbourne.
Watch this space on that one. We'll just go over again those 4 changes for you. So Jose Sands, scorer of 9 goals in NPL Victoria this season and 10 in all competitions this year. He's out with 5 yellow cards. Rahul Suresh, who scored in that match at Paisley Park a fortnight ago, he's dropped to the bench, as is Eligan Kifle and Kerr Rob, who started in central defence. So Corey Thomas coming back to take that place in central defence, and Kerr Rob, the unlucky one there. But Corey Thomas has made the switch midway through this season from playing as a number 6 in midfield to going back into central defence and offering more on that range of passing to play out from the back and be that creative outlet from central defence alongside Newman Ailey, who holds his spot in central defence. Interestingly, Michael Sutsides is back in the matchday squad today, and he's been an excellent defender. Not so much your ball-playing outlet from central defence, but he just throws himself at everything, and he's such a difficult player to beat. And I'm sure he'll be one of the players at the end of the season for Moreland City who goes very close in the B&F on the vote count night. But also looking at Oakleigh Cannons, Emlyn Wellsmore rested, Nick Feely rested, Joe Guest rested, Oliver Kubele rested as well. So all those players not only out of the starting 11 from that Doherty Cup final last week, but also out of the matchday squad today altogether.
Yeah, I mean, Kubele last week, 2 weeks ago, was in the team of the week for the NPL. But this is the thing. Oakleigh has got the depth, and when you're able to have Salmon and Valentini still up front, and McGlebe in the midfield, that makes a big difference to be able to rest some other players. Joe Guest has been a mainstay, we know, with Salmon. 2 of the strikers have really done a lot for Oakleigh, but when you can actually rest Joe Guest, it gives your team flexibility and the ability to change formations as well.
That's right, and they're also showing their depth. There's no Kingsley Sinclair in the matchday squad today either. Here's Valentini getting in behind the Moreland City defence. Gets onto his left and back onto the right and fires it into the bottom corner to open the scoring for the Oakleigh Cannon side. It didn't take too long, and they take the lead courtesy of Stefan Valentini, a familiar source to goal. Inside 10 minutes, it's Moreland City 0, the Oakleigh Cannons 1.
Yeah, Valentini, too easy. I was looking at Croucher there. He claims that there was a bit of a foul, but the ref just played on, and that was it. Valentini got the opportunity. There wasn't enough pressure after Croucher lost his man, and there was the goal. So Croucher will be disappointed, but Valentini, a good finish, and this is what you need. Oakleigh are pushing, depending what happens with the Avondale result, maybe for second. A lot to play for today, and they probably want to finish the game in this first half if they can.
It is remarkable, all those teams, particularly in 3rd, 4th and 5th, all so close, and somehow they're all with the exact same goal difference of plus 21. It looks like a glitch on the league table when you see it to the naked eye, but it actually is extreme set of circumstances that sees those teams all so close together. The Cannons and Hume City both on the same points, and Heidelberg United just 2 points behind, and they're in action this afternoon as well out at Petty's Reserve against Manningham United Blues. We'll keep you across the scores of those ones as the goals go in. There is, of course, a match of some significance taking place down the road, also in Melbourne suburbs, in Melbourne's northern suburbs in Parkville. Avondale taking on South Melbourne, but here's Croucher trying his luck from distance. A little bit of swerve on the shot, trying to deceive Brendan White in the Oakleigh Cannons goal, who gets a rare start today, and he's looking to make the most of it with a clean sheet, no doubt, and he passes the first test with flying colours. Yeah,
Croucher obviously disappointed what happened with Valentini, lost his balance or wasn't fouled, and Valentini scored that goal now, showing a bit more desperation. And yeah, good shot, good swerving shot to test out White with Feely out. White will have a lot to prove, especially with finals coming up.
Here comes the Moreland side again through Diego Cuba. Running forward. Here's a Kuno, low ball in. And good bit of defending in the end. Excellent by Brodie Boyce. Ball comes back in again to the back post. It's Theodore Akopoulos with the free header. Can't make the most of it. It's almost like everyone had stopped there for the injured player. And if the ball had gone in the goal, I fancy the goal would have still stood. Brodie Boyce looks like he's going to be okay. Yeah,
Brodie Boyce, a very important player this year. He came across, actually he was one of the, there's an article over this year, and I mentioned this before in commentary, 45 players in the NPL, and Brodie was one of them. and really shown a lot. And this is the ability to get a lot out of younger players as well as the experienced players that Oakleigh have.
Duel won by Noah Holmes in the centre of the park against Corey Thomas. Valentini, the goal scorer. With the free kick for obstruction, will play on's the call. Advantage is played and well read by Newham and Ailey. Getting back to do the defensive duties, and Moreland can break here again. End-to-end feel about this one so far. Waters, another player back in the starting 11 today. The Irishman.
Yeah, Moreland's got a bit of an attacking mindset. Haven't seen that much of it, obviously, this year, but probably a free licence to a lot of these players maybe even playing for NPL, staying in the NPL and attracting other clubs. That's also an important element here. But I would say Moreland's more of a 3-5. It looks like a 4-back, but more 3 at the back, 5 in the midfield, maybe one playing a bit deeper, and obviously Okono, who's on 5 goals this year. One of their top scorers. They're missing Aaron Sabir and Fulton, who are the 2 top strikers. Obviously, Federikopoulos scored a lot of his goals at Manningham, so not so much for Moreland, but yeah, it's an opportunity now for Okono to really step up and hold the line.
Also with Matt Spall lining up at right back, he's a player who's capable of playing in the front 3, so certainly an attacking field to the Moreland setup today for Dave Ostojic. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Peter, spot on here is Theodorakopoulos getting on the ball. Back to goal. Looking for options. Cuba's going to try his luck from distance. Queenslander scoring his first goal in the NPL Victoria. What a goal that was as well on that wet day against Heidelberg United a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago to be precise.
Yeah, intriguing player, Diego Cuba, obviously the brother of Kane Cuba, who had a fantastic season last year with Altona Magic, and this year moved across obviously to Avondale. But Diego's got some, I'm just looking at his body language, he's telling his teammates where to go. He made a little bit of mistake there. He was a bit angry at himself and showing those elements that you really need in NPL Victoria. So it's great to see some of these Queenslanders, and not just Queenslanders. You know, we've got a player from Tasmania here, and other states, South Australia as well. Kasumovic really shows something in the NPL, and I don't want to harp on this, Stephen, that it is like the second division here. It's a tough league. You mentioned earlier a lot of the aggregate scores are very close with a lot of the clubs, especially in the top 6, top 7 teams. And yeah, this is where it's at the moment, and we saw that obviously with the results recently in the Australian Cup.
Moreland trying to bring the ball forward again through Dean Waters, lining up in central midfield this afternoon. A welcome returnee, another experienced head. Such a young team that they fielded in that game against Altona Magic a fortnight ago. Going down that one, and really no way back. There's no way of catching 13th placed Manning United Blues now to get themselves off the foot of the table this year. For the champions of the NPL 2 in 2022, winning that league by the solitary goal on the last day of the season against North Geelong, or winning by the solitary point, should I say, in a 1-0 win, is Kasumovic. Thought about trying his luck. Salmon is lurking out on the left-hand side. Good pressure from Spall to win the ball back, and there's a bit of space here for Theodorakopoulos. He's got options to his right, including to his left, including Karamat. He does look to his right now. Kuno is the target of this one. Keeps it in play. Can he supply a telling cross here? It's blocked well by Connor Hampson, and now to play for a throw on the Sydney Road wing. Western side of the venue here at CV Smith Reserve.
You mentioned last year, the year before, Moreland winning the NPL 2 and then coming up, and last year they survived relegation. Bentley Greens went down. Was that one of the games that they lost? Bentley Greens drawed or lost against Altona Magic, and Moreland survived with a gritty result at the end. So
Theodorakopoulos, strong challenge with Connor Hampson. Away by Holmes, now Kasumovic, back to goal. Forward by Holmes, it's a deft touch by Salmon again, but it was well read by Thomas, who had to get stuck in to win that second ball. So does Alex Salmon. Players are committed out there in the centre of the park at CV Smith Reserve this afternoon. Saturday afternoon, NPL football, and these players, both sets of players for both sides, really giving it their all this afternoon.
Yeah, you mentioned Waters, who just got in there with a strong tackle on Salmon. He's showing quite a bit here to try to take control of the match, at least for Moreland. pressing forward and guiding his players. So really showing some elements here where hopefully Moreland maybe can get back into the game.
Ailey, pull that wide from him. Picks out Cuba. Ailey in the white boots. Croucher. One behind the ball for the Cannons. Waiting for Moreland to make the mistake, perhaps. Aramad, space and time for the former Melbourne City youngster, and he finds Cuba, turns on a sixpence in the penalty area. And it's cleared away by Jordan Hall. Back in possession again. So, well, nothing to play for Moreland, and the shackles have been taken away by Gesson. Well, playing for the pride of the shirt, and they're not doing too bad out there despite trailing this one 1-0 at the moment, Peter.
Yes, I mean, I'm seeing Can Cuba really got in a good position there. Obviously the cross didn't come off, there was no one there. Noah Holmes was tracking him back but let him get beyond. You can tell a little bit more creative license, as I mentioned, and Waters and Cuba really dictating the midfield for Moreland and really showing that this game, they're up for it. It won't be easy for Oakleigh, and as long as the result makes 1-0, they're still in it. Oakleigh look like they might have a bit of an injury. Valentini, Stephen.
Well, he was carrying an injury in the Doherty Cup final, I told last week. Elected not to be one of the penalty takers in the shootout. He's hobbling around here. Is it like maybe perhaps he's holding the Achilles now? I don't know. I thought it was initially looking like a groin problem for Stefan Valentini. Well, he had a happy start to the afternoon, opening the scoring within 10 minutes, but well, perhaps his afternoon could be ending prematurely. Some of those subs for the Oakleigh Cannons this afternoon available, as you mentioned. Jacob Aliopoulos making a return to the matchday squad this afternoon for the 27-year-old, a well-liked figure at the Oakleigh Cannons. Munib Adus, a player who had to bide his time and then never got on in their previous 2 cup games in the last fortnight. Also, Luke Mensick on the bench. Roy Gregory, another option as well, and sub-keeper George Bitsios. 197 centimetres tall, George Bitsios as well. 19-year-old. Getting his chance to be on the matchday squad today. Valentini looks like he's shrugged off that injury concern now as he plays the ball into Alex Salmon, and it's a good save from Condolian. Wow, one of the best moves of the match so far. Valentini, who was hobbling only seconds earlier, supplying a great cross. Alex Salmon timing his run perfectly, and the save was spot on from the youngster Alex Condolian, the 20-year-old keeper, turning it behind for an Oakleigh Cannons corner kick. Fantastic save there by Condolian. Good reflex saves. Valentini really got around Croucher again and created that opportunity. Obviously, he's still holding a little bit. I don't know if it's a thigh, but seems to be okay. And Salmon normally can finish those, but a great reflex save. Ball into the back post area. Jordan Hall was the target. Apologies on the live stream. It does appear that our clock is running about, on the graphic, about 10 minutes behind where we're actually situated. It was confusing me as we're watching the replay stream here, Peter, but that is the case. So if you're watching at home, I hope you're enjoying the contest, and may need to add another 10 minutes to that figure that you're seeing on the clock. Yes, in the top left-hand corner of your screen. I'm looking at it now, Stephen. Quite strange. I don't know, maybe something, all the resources on the Avondale, South Melbourne, which will get you a score soon. Here's Akuno combining with Thagia into the penalty area, and a little bit of pressure from Cam McGill, the acting captain, and he's just so composed on the ball. Well, his commentator's curse there as he just puts it out of play on the left peg, so the Moreland City throw. We hope you are enjoying this contest wherever you're tuning in from, whether it be somewhere in Melbourne or regional Victoria, further afield, interstate or overseas. Stefan Valentini's goal is the difference between the two sides at the moment. We have played 21 minutes in this one. Disregard what it says on the clock on the screen, as got some cockatoos just up on the fence behind the goal there, and we've got no ball boy, so it looks like Pierre Akuno is just going to stretch the groin and the hamstring there to go and fetch that one himself over the fence. Yes, it's could be self-service today, I think. Most people sitting here on the stand. There is a bit of a crowd, but I do know that a lot of people have gone to the Avondale, even neutrals, the Avondale-South Melbourne match. Yeah, big crowd there. No doubt the grandstand on the Tullamarine Freeway side of the venue will be absolutely packed as this ball comes into the penalty area, and Corey Thomas's header is not far away as he puts his hands to his head because he can't believe he hadn't scored, though. Wow, excellent service. Yes, well, a very well taken corner
Corey Thomas an opportunity there. Not as much pressure in the defence of Oakleigh. They didn't track him back and unfortunately just missed the target. But I would say Moreland are really, I would say, attacking. They're trying to get a little bit forward, and they're in this match. And as long as it's 1-0, the pressure will still be on Oakleigh. They need a result today.
Definitely full credit to Diego Cuba for the quality delivery of that corner kick. And here's Alex Salmon. Valentini now. Nice solid foot control from him, but he's had his pocket picked. Rome's coming in to win the ball back quickly. And here's Theodorakopoulos looking to play the direct ball in front of Akuno. Well read by Jordan Hall. Experienced player wins out there. Boyce is taking this one over the touchline, so it's going to be the Moreland throw. Good pressure by Castro Karamad.
Yeah, Theodorakopoulos is playing a little bit deeper like a 10 and really creating some opportunities, causing problems for Noah Holmes.
Is that a high boot there from Jordan Hall, perhaps? Referee this afternoon is Lockie Keevers. He says, no harm done. Is Karamad. Huber was fizzed in at him. His first touch was good enough. Bounces awkwardly for Theodorakopoulos, and he loses his footing in the centre of CV Smith reserve. Croucher got in quickly to try and win the ball. Going to ground there was Waters. It's Valentini receiving from Basetto. Well, if you think Moreland City had nothing to play for, it doesn't show at the moment because they're having a real crack out there. Prepare for next season's competition, and well, is showing plenty of pride in that navy blue shirt of Moreland City.
That's correct. I mean, pretty much 9 players back, as well as the goalkeeper, so they don't want to concede another goal. They want to stay in this.
Well, the corner from Alex Salmon was a curious one. Straight to Karamad. Here's Thagia. Back to goal. Pressure from Boyce. He comes away with the ball, does Chudia Thagia. It's Diego Cuba. Pressure was Matt's ball. The pass was almost a bit of a hospital one. It's controlled by Corey Thomas, leading aside Kasumovic. A merry dance there. Thagia. Nice turn from him to shield the ball from Basetto, and he plays a long one over the top. A little bit too much on it. It's going to run all the way through harmlessly to Brendan White.
Thagia up there had the previous opportunity, had 2 people on the right and just didn't pass the ball quick enough. Could have been an opportunity and an outlet for Moreland, so a little bit disappointed with that, Stephen. But he's got to be creative, he's got to try things. All the Moreland players have to try things, so not everything's going to come off. But I think the urgency in pushing forward and transition is important for Moreland to keep the pressure on Oakleigh.
It's Connor Hampson. McGill. Bit of space for Salmon to try his luck from distance. Good block by Ailey. Just about kept from crossing the byline, but not quite by Alex Condolian. So another corner to defend here for Moreland City, but they've dealt with these situations well so far in this match. They've had to defend 3 of these corner kicks already from the Oakleigh Cannons. And, well, Oakleigh won't want to repeat the previous one that was taken short by Alex Salmon. Straight into the possession of the Moreland City player. It looks like it's going to be Basetto over to take this one. So, former Moreland City attacker, former teammates with some of these players that are still in the team today that won the NPL2 in 2022. Coming to Oakleigh Cannons via Western United. It's in by Basetto to the penalty spot. They're lining up for it. Bounces off the chest of Alex Salmon. Still in his possession though. Salmon out wide for Valentini. It's in the Rainmaker, and it's well taken again by the goalkeeper, Alex Condolian.
Yeah, Alex Salmon, he doesn't have Joe Guest with him, and we saw that in the Doherty Cup. There was just a lot of pressure that game, I have to say. Very tight game. He was at that game really tight. But he's got a bit of freedom to really just dictate from the 9 position, and Valentini and Basetto on the wings. It really gives Salmon just the opportunity to see how he goes solo.
Definitely that option for a bit of unpredictable attacking patterns, with the chance for Basetto to exchange positions with Salmon. Salmon to drop deep and pick up the ball. Basetto to stretch the defence vertically. Good coaching by CT, rotating the deck a little bit today.
That's the luxury. And we saw that. I mean, when you've got a deep squad, we saw that in
see. And
we saw that in the Australian Cup. If you've got a deep squad, especially Heidelberg, Oakleigh and South Melbourne, all got good players from the bench, impact players, younger players who want to come on and make an impact as well. So that really puts pressure on A-League teams who also, most of them have played, and we'll discuss this a little bit further about those results, but play younger players. But you need depth, and when you've got depth, you can create problems.
the good thing as well, you mentioned about those mid-season signings being so effective for Chris Taylor, is the fact that he picked up players from A-League outfits, and they weren't cup-tied as well for that reason. They were able to play in all competitions, which wasn't the case for some of the South Melbourne signings. South Melbourne squad, even deeper again, of course, than Oakleigh Cannons by somewhat. They almost have two first-choice 11s that they could pick each week. They brought in a couple of good signings in the mid-season window. Robert Harding.
Yeah, Harding, exciting player. That's the same.
Jack Pope as well. Switching play out wide. This is Karamad. Gets the ball into the box. And Akuno is there. It's blocked by Tratt. Is that going into the goal? Was that a handball by Bajian perhaps? But play's going to go on here. Voices. Passes off target. And Moreland City are going to switch the play from left to right here. This is Spall lining up at right back today. Goes straight past Kasumovic. Well played, Matt Spall. Socks down on the far side. Can he get a good ball into the box here? Karamad is in the centre of the area. Theodorakopoulos tries the curler. Well, it was a good knockdown by Karamad at the back post. Theodorakopoulos getting on the end of it. Just couldn't contort that one within the parameters of the frame of the goal.
Yeah, Karamad getting behind twice now. His opponent there, I think it's Boyce, and really creating an opportunity. Theodorakopoulos always will try things from outside the box, but Kono is causing problems for the centre of the defence. When you've got a big 9 target man, if I can call him that, up front, you're going to cause problems for the two centre backs. And with that, Karamad and Theodorakopoulos maybe can get an opportunity on a second ball.
Thomas, Croucher. Plenty of possession with the home side at the moment. Moreland City not going to go down without a fight this season. Trying to pick up some points. Just the 3 wins so far this season. 2 of them were in back-to-back rounds earlier in the season as well. They defeated Green Gully and Dandenong Thunder in back-to-back matches, and then of course they got the 3 points at Avenger Park when Avondale was caught out playing an ineligible player. 43 points the way of the Moreland City side. They tasted defeat at the end of the 90. Theodorakopoulos is in here, and it's a good save by White. Well, I can't believe he hasn't scored there. Christos Theodorakopoulos, back at his old club, he's grabbed a couple of goals on his return, and he thought he'd grabbed another one there that would have made it 3 for his old team and levelled the scores. Brendan White had other ideas.
What an opportunity. Theodorakopoulos thought he would score there. White, a fantastic save. But Theodorakopoulos probably disappointed himself. Not many of those opportunities can arise today, and he's got to really take that. Moreland could have been level pegging.
That's right. So many of the games this season have come down to small margins, and Basetto's almost in behind here. Moreland's defence doing enough. We can tell you just quickly that there is a goal at Avenger Park, and it has gone to Noel Bernarda from South Melbourne. So as it stands, South Melbourne will be premiers this afternoon if the score line is to stay like that. Noel Bernarda scoring on 19 minutes there at Avenger Park. So the Argentine is enjoying his time at Lakeside Stadium this season. It's a good touch by Salmon. He's going to float the ball into the box, looking for Basetto, who's taken up the 9 position. As we said, those 2 players exchanging positions and making things difficult for that Moreland City defence to track the runs. Crouch is going to need to get to this ball first. Valentini sliding in. And that could be a yellow card, you would imagine. The first of the afternoon will go here to Stefan Valentini, sliding in late. A poorly timed challenge. Something you could call a striker's challenge there, Peter.
Very much a striker's challenge. Croucher maybe got his revenge there, letting the first goal maybe to blame for that first goal for Valentini, but he pulled a yellow card there. Yeah, you mentioned Argentinians. It seems like South Melbourne's influence. You've got the goalkeeper, you've got the coach, and you've got a scorer.
Mario Barcia in midfield as well. There's certainly that trio that hail from Argentina and really making an impression in NPL Victoria this season. Always good seeing Esteban Quintas sitting on the esky on the touchline, observing things. As the sun comes out here, and we're reaching for our commentator issue sunglasses out of the kit because it's a glorious day in Melbourne this afternoon. Certainly glorious for the Oakleigh Cannons, who lead this one 1-0, but Christos Theodorakopoulos, who came close a moment ago, is trying to get his side back into this one. Asad Kasumovic, he looked ahead and didn't see many options, so he decides to go back to Hampson, and now Noah Holmes, yet another former Western United player out there in the starting 11 for these two sides this afternoon. This is Salmon dropping deep again. Enjoying that free roll and exchanging positions into the 10. Space from Valentini, running at Croucher. What a duel those two have had this afternoon. At the back post, it was Alex Salmon making the run. Well, he got a bit of height to the jump, but it simply wasn't enough. He would have needed to be another foot taller there to nod that one past Alex Condolian. Decent cross otherwise, just a little bit too high from Stefan Valentini.
Yes, good battle there between Croucher and Valentini. And Valentini got the ball in, a bit too much there for Salmon. But you did mention that a lot of players coming from the A-League, I would say, academies, if not the first team. You mentioned Basetto and Tratt from Western United. Tratt a bit of an older player. Jordan Hall's from Melbourne City. So it's going to be interesting next year with Melbourne Victory on the cusp of coming into the NPL, and how those players, under 21 and 23, are going to go. And we've got some interesting news which we'll discuss, Stephen, about next year's NPL, and there's going to be a few changes.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. We've got the exclusive this afternoon on what's happening next season. But Alex Salmon is almost in here, and well played, Alex Condolian. Quick off his line to repel the English striker from getting his first of the afternoon. Now coming the other way, Diego Cuba and Theodorakopoulos in space. Glorious sunshine at CB Smith Reserve. This is Karamad drifting inside, switching it out to that far side. It's Cuba. His cross is blocked by Hampson. Now Asad Kasumovic. It's a decent ball out in front of Valentini. Condolian again comes and uses the knee there, getting nifty with the knee, Alex Condolian, to put that one out of play, and that'll do the job.
Well, he's showing a lot. Condolian's got a repertoire or a portfolio of skills as a goalkeeper, and maybe he was an outfield player and decided to go into the goals. But Theodorakopoulos always looking dangerous. He's got that punchy mobility, coming deep and trying to create chances.
Just fancy for Moreland's matter of just taking one of those chances. They have had a couple so far, and here's Valentini, the man who did take his chance inside 10 minutes. He's got to the byline here. He's just about going to keep this one in play. He has. Valentini looking for options in the middle. Salmon was one of the players in there. Here is Alex Salmon back to goal. He's got Basetto in support. Looking for options. He's going to just try and go his own way, and Corey Thomas was wearing him like a glove and sees it go behind for yet another Oakleigh Cannons corner kick. Everyone back in the blue shirts to defend this one once again.
Yeah, Moreland's obviously want to stay in this game, and Oakleigh aren't pressing, so Moreland have got space, and on transition they're very dangerous. So Karaman and obviously Theodorakopoulos and Akuno, big man up front, so they can get into positions, but they've got to keep it tight, especially during corners.
So it's going to be Basetto to deliver this corner. Disregard the clock on your screen on the broadcast. There is just under 10 minutes until half-time. It's in by Basetto at the near post area, repelled by that Moreland City defence in the shadows of the gum tree at the northern end of the venue. Excellent work by Camello behind the camera to give you the best look at the action in a match that's certainly difficult to film with the sun, the dark and the light shading out there on the pitch. But here comes Moreland City again. Charging through the middle is Thargiath. He's got Akuno to his right. And Theodorakopoulos tries his luck from distance. Well, he hit that one like a bullet, and Brendan White had to take that one at the second bite of the cherry. Such was the force on it, he could only parry the initial shot. I wonder if Akuno was considering maybe just going direct at goal himself there. He decided to lay it back, and Theodorakopoulos didn't have to break stride to fire that attempt on goal there, Peter.
No, he sort of thought maybe White wasn't expecting it, the goalkeeper there for Oakleigh, and really a good shot, just couldn't get through.
It's Basetto going the long way around, and he floats it in front of the attacking combo of Valentini and Salmon, but again Condolian is able to pick up the loose ball and thwart this Cannons defence, who are looking for that second goal to try and kill this game off.
It's interesting that Oakleigh, we saw them in the Australia Cup, really, I would say, outplay in a lot of ways Sydney FC for most of that game, and today it seems like Moreland's still more in the game, so it just shows what the NPL is like. It's a tough competition.
It's Valentini wrestling for the ball, and it's a good bit of play by Aiden Croucher. So that duel continues to be one to watch this afternoon. Croucher on Valentini, and Croucher winning the latest battle between those two. Moreland City coming away with the ball through Diego Cuba, and here's Matt Spall on the far side. Well played Connor Hampson to intercept that one as it was rolling towards the feet of Chidir Thagia, who gets up and looks a little bit forlorn after being on the wrong end of that challenge. Will be a throw to the post. Dave Stoich has some options on his bench to look at for the second half. Rahul Suresh scored in their last outing 2 weeks ago at Paisley Park. Kerr, Rob, Aligo and Kifle, who started and sent in as the left back in that match as well 2 weeks ago. Marco Canatali, the youngster, 3 goals in the under-23s for him this season, the sub-keeper Santo Agwork. And as we mentioned, Michael Sutsides is back in the matchday squad. It's good to see him back involved in the team again, because he's certainly an exciting player to watch from central defence for the Moreland City side, one of their better players this season.
Yeah, it's good to see that he's back. And Ruggles, you mentioned Ruggles Suresh. He came over from Langwarrin mid-season, so an opportunity to step up in NPL, and who knows where he can go next year.
Certainly had a good stint down there at Langwarrin. Caught the attention of Dave Stoich. Croucher. The space to move into here for Aiden Croucher as he approaches the halfway line. Just sitting off at the moment. Trotting on the ball there was Cuba, his best touch. This ball was out wide. This ball, the boy from Bendigo City, playing it right back today. Plays it over the top. It's good header by Tratt defensively to nod it away, and he finds Hampson and now McGilp, and Oakleigh very calm and composed in possession here. Bassetto turn and face forward. He's got option 10 down the left, but the pass was off target and well intercepted by Corey Thomas. More than happy to have him back, their captain and their leader. This afternoon, missing him for yellow card accumulation in their last outing. Salmon. Noah Holmes. Just over 5 minutes till the half-time.
Haven't seen much of Kasumovic in this first half. A product out of Adelaide, getting very close to being part of the Adelaide United squad. He hasn't really had so many opportunities, so a bit quiet out there more on the left side, but we haven't really seen much of him, and he's an exciting player.
Yeah, he had his moment of glory national stage in the Australia Cup against Sydney FC Tuesday before last, scoring on 38 minutes to let Oakleigh Cannons retake the lead after they conceded from the penalty kick that was a little bit stiff, to be honest. Penalty decision going against them, and then after Nick Feely saved the first attempt, there was a retake as well, so Sydney really got the rub of the green, but it was not enough for them to overcome the Oakleigh Cannons in that match. No
A-League team got an opportunity against the South Melbourne, Heidelberg, and of course Oakleigh. Even though they got the rub of the green, the NPL, as you would say, NPL Victoria came out on top in all 3 clashes.
Here's Alex Salmon showing his pace on the right-hand side, looking centrally for Valentini, and he was well marked by Corey Thomas. It's going to fall for Valentini again as he picks up the second ball. And McGilp tries his luck with the snapshot on the left foot. Couldn't control it. It was a real stand and deliver attempt from Cam McGilp, the acting captain. And it would have been a good day for him to get on the score sheet with the armband on the bicep this afternoon.
And you mentioned, I mentioned NPL Victoria, the famous quote from 2022, Warren Moon, the Brisbane Raw coach at the time. And this resonates through the whole NPL Victoria for a couple of years now. NPL Victoria, the centre of the universe. Well, maybe for the last few weeks. Stephen?
Well, certainly with the 5 member-fed clubs from Victoria, 5 from 5, all progressing through to the round of 16. And we've seen the way that the draw's been conducted It took place on Wednesday night after that final match, and they've pitted some of these clubs against each other to try and whittle us down a little bit so that we don't end up having 4 out of 4 in the semi-finals, perhaps being all Victorian member-fed clubs. That certainly won't be possible to happen, but we will see. We may well see a Victorian, NPL Victoria club go all the way to the final this year. We saw Sydney United make it there a couple of years ago, and well, you just fancy the law of averages. It might be our turn this year for Victoria.
Let's hope. I mean, we've got the big game, Oakleigh and Heidelberg, 2 teams with good depth, very good coaches, which possibly could be at the A-League level. Both John Associatis and Chris Teller easily can coach at the A-League level, and they're playing off at Oakleigh, I believe, and that's a huge match. And South Melbourne's got, I think, Olympia from FC, Warriors from Queensland. So there is opportunities to go further, and we will talk about this probably in the second half about the B-League, give a bit of an update, but you need ambition, and the NPL Victorian teams want that, and the Australia Cup's part of that.
Absolutely. Both these member-fed clubs taking the opportunity with 2 hands, and we saw as well, the one we didn't mention, FC Melbourne Serbia, Victoria's 3rd tier. Haven't they been fantastic this season, going for their 2nd successive promotion? They will be in Victoria's 2nd tier next season, and they've already got a team that's just punched above its weight all year, and they're probably well and truly good enough to be playing in the 2nd tier of Victorian football already. They matched it with Oakleigh for large parts of the Doherty Cup semi at the home of the Matildas just a few weeks ago, just going down by the solitary goal. They ended up finishing that match with 10 men, but it looked like they had 11 to Oakley's 10 the way the match was playing out in the final few minutes. So the depth of quality in Victorian football is certainly not coming under question at any way at the moment, as that ball is a nice diagonal ball for Thargiath. Out wide on the right-hand side, running at Hampson. This is good play from Chadir Thargiath, and it's a big coming together of bodies. Brendan White might have come off worst out of that. Thargiath is back up on his feet. Jacob Tradd had also come across to try and block the opportunity. Well, brave keeping from the Oakleigh Cannons custodian, deputising for Nick Feely today. And you just hope he hasn't copped that one right across the face, because you can hear the thud from here, Peter.
You could, and Brendan White was in the A-League. He was probably the 2nd goalkeeper. He's got A-League, and that's the interesting thing. Oakleigh, both keepers have been at the top level. Feely and, of course, Brendan White. That's a very, very good sub to have. But also, Thargia, good to take on. You've got to take on. I mean, Oakleigh, as you mentioned, struggled a bit against Melbourne Serbia, and maybe with the lower teams, they maybe take a little bit off concentration, and this is where the opportunities arise. And we also forgot about Hume City. And Hume City also the 5th team that's come through the Australia Cup with an away win. But I will say this, Melbourne Serbia beat Modbury. Modbury were one of the firm teams in the South Australian NPL.
That's right. Many people thought that Modbury Jets would be too much for FC Melbourne Serbia. It turned out to be not the case. Modbury taking the lead in that match, and FC Melbourne Serbia showing their grit to come from behind and win that one on their adopted home turf at the home of the Matildas by 2 goals to 1, or 3 goals to 1 in fact. But getting over the line in the end, a good result for FC Melbourne Serbia through to the next round as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the home of the Matildas was just about to go into half-time. A very interesting facility, I would say. Maybe the parking can be a little bit better, but really, for the Doherty Cup, and for a lot of these Australia Cup matches, or even NPL matches, it's a facility that needs to be used, not just by the NPL men's, but the women's as well. And we had the Night Cup there the following day, which I think Pauline won over Preston, I believe. But yeah, it's a great facility there, because that's one thing in Victoria or NPL that we're lacking a little bit in facilities. Stephen.
That's right. Well, Lockie Keefers has sounded the whistle. Don't be fooled by the graphic on the screen. We have played 47 minutes of playing time here at CB Smith's Reserve as the players head down the tunnel. Half-time in this one. NPL Victoria, round 25 of the competition, Saturday afternoon football. And it is the visiting side, the Oakleigh Cannons. They're leading this one by a goal to nil, courtesy of Stefan Valentini. Walking down the right wing and scoring on 10 minutes. And, well, Moreland City have had their chances. Christos Theodorakopoulos coming closest. Sub-keeper Brendan White coming in to replace Nick Feely has stood up big and kept out this Moreland City side so far in this one. But at half-time. The scoreline is 1-0 in favour of the visitors. Peter, Moreland City, they gave as good as they got in that first 45, though.
It's pretty much Moreland seemed to be off the leash here. Theodokopoulos, Thajar, Ikono, all had opportunities, all took on the Oakleigh defence, and really they're still in this, and they've, especially at the corners, the set pieces where Oakleigh can be quite dangerous. Kept it really tight, so they're still in this, even though there's a huge gap. They're relegated, and Oakleigh are playing to see what happens with Avondale, maybe for a top 2 spot. And as we mentioned earlier, before we let you go, we've got an exclusive in the second half about the NPL next year.
Can't wait to talk more about that one, Peter, in the second 45. But as it stands as well, the goal difference is certainly a big bridge to climb for the Oakleigh Cannons. But on the live ladder, they are equal on points with 50 points, with Avondale currently trailing a 0 to South Melbourne. But certainly a bunch of goal difference to make up there. 11 goal differential and goal difference coming into this round. The Oakleigh Cannons trail the Avondale side by. So, look, if they can pile on the goals in the second half, who knows what's possible. But as the sun beats down on a perfect afternoon in Melbourne's northern suburbs, 18 degrees here, we're loving this great weather. We're going to take a short break from CB Smith Reserve. At half-time, where the score is Moreland City 0, Oakleigh 1. And we'll be back after this short break for the second 45. We look forward to your company then. Reserve here in Fawkner in Melbourne's north. Glorious afternoon for football, and the crowd here has been thoroughly entertained in the first 45, and it's a half-time score that sees the Oakleigh Cannons leading Moreland City in a fairly even first 45, but it's Stefan Valentini's goal that came on 10 minutes, and that sees the sides separated by that solitary goal. Stefan Valentini, his 8th of the season from 18 appearances. Another good return from him in 2024. Another goal in cup football as well. Approaching double figures for the season as the teams are back out on the pitch for the second 45. Thanks for your company on the NPL Victoria live stream this afternoon. My name is Steve Curtin, alongside me. Welcome back to the commentary position for the second half, Peter Paleologos.
Yeah, looking forward to this second half. Moreland playing freely and really taking the game on. Would have been great to see them, obviously, from their perspective a little bit early in the season. But today, really showing signs of a team that really believes in itself and taking on Oakleigh. Oakleigh, obviously, with the Dockery Cup loss, have had a bit of an impact there. Maybe Moreland had 2 weeks off to reset, to refresh. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the players playing for maybe a contract next year in the NPL, which we will have some news on a little bit later.
That's right, and I thought we might have had a half-time sub about to take place, but it was just Stefan Valentini standing out so wide out on the touchline on the far side, the chalk on the boots, that he is actually just one of the 11 players who's back out there from the first 45, of course, and it's going to be the home side. Moreland City in their blue kit kicking to the Dukes Road end of the venue, the northern end, the right of your screen at home. We hope you enjoyed this second 45. Moreland City's last match here at the home ground for 2024, and there's a good contingent of Moreland City fans here to celebrate the occasion. It's been a tough year for the Coburg-based outfit, but they've got plenty to look forward to in 2025, no doubt, as Thajiath getting on the ball here and running left and then right and then left again. He tries his luck, and what a good attempt that was. And Brendan White, well, he could have been caught cold at coming out of the change rooms from the halftime break, but he was agile enough to reach out and tip that one behind for a Moreland City corner. So Moreland getting a bright start in the second 45 here, and it's going to be Christos Theodorakopoulos back with the club where he helped them win the title in NPL 2 in 2022. He plays the short corner in, didn't really deceive the Oakleigh defence. It's easily repelled. It's a header by Spall, looking for Thomas. That glorious sunshine. We're almost going to strip down the T-shirts here, Peter. What do you have?
We have in polo tops. But Thaja really taking the game. That's the second time today he's taken the game on. Really created opportunity. Turned one way, turned the other. Put the defender under pressure and took the shot, which was curling, and good save by White. Not enough power to beat White on that occasion, but really need to take the game on and show some individual brilliance, and good to see Thaja doing that early on in the second half.
The ball forward by Spall, and he finds Theodorakopoulos. Spall again, and Thajiath, does he win the foul here against Hampton? He does. Referee Lockie Keever's quick to sound the whistle and give Moreland the free kick. So Moreland getting the better start of the two sides in this second 45 here. Their last home match of the season here. They will be on the road next week. The final day of the season, all the matches played simultaneously, of course, the way it should be. And those matches will be taking place at 3 p.m. on Sunday, not Saturday, but Sunday. So wall-to-wall action with 7 matches, all kicking off. The Football 24 app's going to be going absolutely bonkers with goals going in, as they tend to do. Final day of the season, there's often some bigger score lines that look more like a set score in a tennis match than a football match often on the final day of the season.
Yeah, it depends on your ambition. If there's getting into the finals, avoiding relegation, trying new players out, anything can happen in the final round. We have pretty much relegation decided here, depending on what happens if there's a B League, which we'll discuss soon. But bottom line is, there's still a lot to play for in those final sort of 5th, 6th, 3rd, 4th positions, especially on goal difference.
Well played by Alex Condolian there again, saying the boy who's still only 20, turning 21 next week on Monday week, if you like. He was out there to, maybe he's been watching the Olympic volleyball or beach volleyball. He was out there to dig that one away from the feet of Alex Salmon, who was lurking in the penalty area with intent. Alex Salmon looking for his first of the afternoon still. You think it's only a matter of time before he gets himself on the score sheet. 2 goals in his last league outing, Alex Salmon, 1 from the free kick and 1 a fine assist from Asad Kasumovic. And this ball's going to stay in play for Rakuno, and he plays over to the back post looking for Thajiath, and it's a composed header down to Brennan White from Connor Hampson, and Oakleigh can come away through Noah Holmes. The all-white kit, Oakleigh Cannons, glistening in the sunshine this afternoon. Valentini brought down by Croucher. It's been a good duel, those two. Valentini's on a yellow card, and now so is Aiden Croucher. So it's 1-1 in terms of sanctions from referee Lockie Keevers in that particular duel happening down the far side of the pitch. We've enjoyed watching that battle probably more than any other this afternoon, Peter.
Yeah, that's the key duel of this game. We do have an update on the score, Manningham and Heidelberg. It's still 0-0. We'll give you an update soon of the big game, Avondale and South Melbourne, what's going on there. But interesting, yesterday we had a game being postponed, Stephen. Melbourne Knights, Dandenong.
Well, it popped into my mind before when we saw Apia Kuno having to play ball boy. I thought that was a bit of the old adage of peak A-League, perhaps peak NPL, but certainly last night was that in every essence, with the red versus pink shirts and the match never taking place between the Melbourne Knights and the Dandenong Thunder in their away kits there at Knight Stadium. So a disappointing night for everyone who travelled out there as this free kick comes in from McGill, but it's punched over the top by Condolian, 2 fists to it. Not taking any chances with the catch, and he puts it behind for an Oakleigh Cannons corner kick.
Yeah, Condolian showing a lot of confidence, and I will say this, he's not probably the tallest keeper. That doesn't matter these days. I mean, it's really about your ability on the box and your movement and your ability to play out, but really showing a lot of confidence and telling his players where to position themselves as well.
Well, he's almost like a young veteran. He's been there between the posts for a few seasons now for Moreland City. They have to defend this one again, and it's knotted behind by Akuno this time. So Moreland City, they came out punching in the first 5 or so minutes of this second 45, but it's the Oakleigh Cannons getting back on top of the balance of play with this succession of set pieces that Moreland are being forced to defend, and all Moreland players back in their own penalty area to defend this one once again. So there's no option of the quick counter this time. And it's Bassetto over to take. We were just chatting to Morris in the social rooms here at half-time. Proud parents watching on today as this ball's played in, headed on by Hall and Valentini, and well played again by Condolian. Made the initial save and then had to rise above the pack to claim that one with 2 hands. A little bit of afters going on there between Salmon and Theodorakopoulos. Theodorakopoulos is now getting on with things. Christos sticking up for his mate Alex there, I think. Alex Condolian, that is, as opposed to Alex Salmon, I need to clarify.
Yeah, there's a lot of Alexes out on the pitch, and just Condolian there, just getting fouled a little bit by Salmon, but Salmon's hungry to get a goal here. He's trying to, push the envelope, as we say, and Condolian living up to it.
Yeah, Alex Salmon, one of those players on 13. Check that on the leading scorers charts, but something like 9, as many as 9 players on 13, all chasing Harrison Sawyer on 16 for the Golden Boot. So Harrison Sawyer hasn't scored this afternoon, South Melbourne, although Melbourne Arta has. There's going to be a yellow card coming out here. That's an easy decision, and it's Brodie Boyce lining up at right back today, who committed the intentional foul on the halfway line to break up the Moreland City attack. And, well, is there an injury concern here as well?
13 goals this year for Salmon. I mean, Joe Guess has got 10, so really there's a bit of a share. And Valentini, I believe, has got quite a few goals as well. So they share about the goals here, and you obviously got Sawyer, who's ahead with 16, but a lot of it, as you mentioned, 3-4 players on 13 goals, and Salmon is a goal scorer and always will look for that angle.
Well, the trainer is out on the field for Moreland City at the moment, and it's the former Melbourne City youngster who's hobbling around out there, the 20-year-old Kazra Karamad. 8 goals for him in Melbourne City's under-21 squad last season. Now, that winding noise you may have heard through our effects mic was the roller shutters going up behind us, so certainly people making the most of this occasion this afternoon. I haven't seen those roller shutters go up before ever. Actually, this is my first time back at CB Smith Reserve, Peter, since the pole has been removed from the front of the grandstand, and what a tremendous improvement that is for the viewing experience here at this venue from the grandstand as we bask in the glorious sunshine on an 18-degree Melbourne August afternoon as Theodorakopoulos plays this one in. It's away by Tratt this time. Flicked further afield by Kasumovic. Spall gets there first. It's a heavy touch by Thajiath, but he's good enough to win the ball back. Pressure from Bassetto. Bassetto wins the free kick, as you mentioned. The proud parents both watching on this afternoon from different parts of the venue. They're not sitting together.
Yeah. We were actually talking a little bit to Morris Bassetto, obviously involved in the Newcastle Jets takeover, but we wanted some reflections on the B-League, and he gave us a little bit of a view, what's the lay of the land. Not that he's across it, because that's not his remit, but it's quite interesting to see what happens, and there is a few ideas floating around what is going to happen to the B-League.
Ball into the back post, and it's over the top from Valentini on the left foot that time. So looks like he's been to the wars this afternoon. He's got a lot of mud and dirt on the back of the shirt, even though the pitch is in good conditions out there. Nice and sunny after consecutive days of sunshine, after we had such a wet couple of weeks leading up to the break for the Cup final and the postponed games last week. But we mentioned postponed games. We'll have to have that Melbourne Knights and the Dandenong Thunder match played this midweek for sporting competitiveness and balance, fairness of the other teams as well, because Melbourne Knights are in the mix for the finals still.
Yes, they are, and it's just incredible to see not played for a mixing of colours in terms of the shirts being quite identical, which I don't know if it was the case. I've heard some feedback from people who were there, and they were disappointed in the decision, but ultimately the referee decides whether to play the game or not.
So the Melbourne Knights could still displace Dandenong City, who got the win last night in a high scorer. 5 goals to 3 against Port Melbourne, with both of those sides contending for that 6th place in the season. That spot had belonged to Port Melbourne for so much of the season. But the wheels really fell off in June and July for Port Melbourne, and they couldn't pick up the points that they needed to hold on to that position that they'd made their own in the first half of the season. But the Melbourne Knights, if they can get 2 wins, they could still make it. They will need to, of course, rely on other results that involve Dandenong City. 2 sister clubs, might I add, as well, so I'm sure there'll be no conspiracy theories between those two. They'll both be looking to get in there on their own merit.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories talking about the B-League, and I'm just going to go straight to it.
Let's go.
I want to focus on the match as well, of course, and we are focusing on the match. It's still 0-1, so it's quite close. But the reason I raise it is because 2 things. One is we've heard that it's been delayed, and that's from my sources, having spoken to some people involved.
Alex Salmon lurking, and Corey Thomas again. Well, you can see why he's such a welcome returnee after missing last week with accumulation of yellow cards. No coincidence that was the week when they conceded 6 goals, when they didn't have Corey Thomas out there to show that leadership. Ball forward by Spall. Brendan White's out of his box, and he's colliding with Akuno, and Jacob Tratt not taking any chances. So a nervy moment there for the Oakleigh Cannons as they sit on the narrowest of leads here at CB Smith Reserve, approaching the hour mark in this match.
Yeah, Kuno showing that, he worries Oakleigh. He's a big player and has got a bit of speed, and really got to get more the ball to him and really try to get more out of him.
A long throw was in by Spall. Almost a la Max Mikla. It's going to be a corner, though, for Moreland City, so a chance for the big men to come forward. Newman Ailey, the player that arrived from North Sunshine Eagles. Plenty of height about him. Akuno, another obvious target. And it's going to be Diego Cuba to swing this one in. It'll be the outswinger, though. So the players lurking around that back post area. Akuno probably the most obvious target. In by Cuba. It was aimed at Thomas, and it was well defended by Brodie Boyce. Here's Thargiath. Will he pull the trigger? He just tries to float it in, and it's flicked awkwardly off Jordan Hall's head. Well, he scored an own goal in their last league outing against the Melbourne Knights 2 weeks ago, and that one was a little bit less of a heart-stopping moment as it went over the top of the crossbar and behind for a Moreland City corner kick again, this time from the other side. Diego Cuba to swing the in-swinger in this time.
Thargia creating a few opportunities, creating a little bit of worry in the Oakleigh defence. And with the result, with a 0-1 at the moment, they're pretty much still in the game. He's trying things, and that's what you've got to do in these sort of matches.
Well, the set-piece routine from the training ground over at Campbell Reserve. It comes in towards the front post, punched away by White and away by the acting captain, McGill. Back in by Cuba. Tratt's header goes up in the air, and it's going to go over the crossbar. So, as you were, another chance from the set-piece. So, a succession of corners. This time, again, from that left-hand side of the pitch. The in-swinger from Cuba. Delivery was good last time. Put the cat amongst the pigeons, certainly. And Oakleigh Cannons, they've got everyone back except for Alex Salmon, who's stayed up on the halfway line. So they've certainly got the numerical advantage in there, have the Oakleigh Cannons. A couple of spare men. Taken short, and this is Theodore Akopoulos on the edge of the box. His first touch didn't allow him time to shoot, and that wasn't one for the highlights reel there from Dean Waters, who pulled the trigger, and, well, he probably won't want to see that one again.
No, that's very disappointing. Just missed the mark by a while, but smart move there. It's Theodore Akopoulos, always lurking, always in a dangerous position, and you mentioned Diego Cuba. He's got a good passing range, a good set piece, and a player that is actually coming off right now, which maybe is an injury, but someone who's creative and providing the creative outlet for Moreland.
Well, it looks like Aidan Croucher, who's picked up the yellow card, is the player, okay. The 27.
Sorry, Aidan Croucher.
So he's gone off, and Suitsides is back on, so he's got the right arm in the cast, sort of like the cast worn by Jamie Vardy back in the day in the Premier League when he was banging in all the 6 goals in 11 games in a row. But there he is getting his first touch. Michael Suitsides, he's certainly a welcome player back into the team, and jack of all trades, Corey Thomas shifts across to left back, so you're showing you can play anywhere across those sort of back, probably 5 or 6 positions there for Moreland City, lining up now at left back. So Corey Thomas and Valentini will be going toe-to-toe now for the next half an hour, should Valentini stay out there and not be substituted. It'll be interesting to watch how those two go.
Yeah, Corey Thomas, very important, showing leadership, very important player for Moreland this season. As you mentioned, when he's missing, it makes it quite difficult, especially in the defensive line for Moreland, and yeah, very important player.
And the other player coming on as well is young Marco Canatelli, who's scored his first NPL Victoria goal in his debut season at senior football at this level, so looking to add to his resume with another good moment this afternoon, perhaps. The diminutive figure in midfield as he gives chase. Noah Holmes in possession. Hampson. This is Bassetto. A nice little turn, trying to show Matt Spall a clean pair of heels, but it was a good bit of work by the substitute, Marco Canatelli, to get across and apply the pressure on Bassetto. Holmes. They're lining up here. Kasumovic. He's going to try his luck from distance. Well, maybe he should have laid that off, and he got a couple of glares from a couple of teammates. One of those in particular is Alex Salmon, saying, "What about me?"
Ambitious there by Kasumovic. You've got to try things, and he's got the range, so he's been at the higher level, especially in Adelaide, and really, as you mentioned, he scored the goal in the Australia Cup. But going back to the B League, what I've been hearing, it's delayed. There is an idea of a Conference League or a Champions League, short form.
He's Salmon again. He won't be denied, but he is still denied again this time. Bassetto. Hampson. Now Salmon again. Good challenge from Ailey, but Salmon won it back, and he's going to try the curler, and he didn't get his foot wrapped around the outside of that football, and it's out of play. And that will give us a chance to talk about what we appear to understand, Peter, is in fact a delayed National Second Division for 2025. Perhaps, not till next 2026, and that we can only assume that means that Manningham United will be relegated this season if the ladder is to stay as it is at the moment, and unless perhaps St Albans or, God forbid, even Green Gully somehow find themselves dragged down into the bottom 2.
That's right. It seems like it's been delayed, not off the table, but delayed, and maybe some sort of Champions League for the clubs interested as a pilot. That's what we've been hearing. But it's about pathways. You mentioned Ali coming from North Sunshine. We've got players from Perth. Valentini's originally from Perth. We've got exciting players like Gan Albano in our league that's been here several years. And I want to mention the Cuba brothers from Queensland. These are pathways that are needed in Australia, the B League, and we maybe not have that. But we may have next year changes that may have come out of the B League and now implement to NPL Victoria.
And this is exciting, this news breaking today. And we have to credit our source, our good friend Mark Ivkovic, who's supplied us with some very credible information about the rules of competition for next season. And look, they're exciting, I think.
They are, and we'll unpack them very shortly.
Salmon winning the free kick, and we'll just touch on some of those rules now while this free kick is being lined up for Oakleigh Cannons.
Yeah, the PPS, which is the player point system, may be scrapped for next year in NPL Victoria. 5 players under 53 must be, up to 23, I should rephrase that, under 23 on the match day squad. That's the first change, and I'll go into the second shortly.
So it's the left-footed delivery of Connor Hampson. Good ball into the back post area, and the header was by Kuno. McGill picking up the loose ball. Pressure from Cantali, out of play.
And quickly, the second aspect of that is visa players, 3+1. The +1 is an Asian position. Now, that's interesting because that may have been the format for the B League. They're having 3 foreigners and plus an Asian spot, and that's going to be implemented in NPL Victoria, the first division in Victoria, Melbourne as well, next year. So that's a big change, especially for younger players. They're not going to get the pathway yet for the B League, but having 5 spots for under 23 players in NPL clubs, that's a little bit of a game changer, especially from the pathway perspective, Stephen.
I like it. We see a lot of good talent coming out of Japan, for one in particular. So many clubs, often clubs in the second or even third tier, will have a very creative outlet in central midfield, coming across from the Japanese competition or college or education system over there, or a lower league in Japan. And that applies to the men's and the women's game as well in Melbourne. I've noticed that is the case for so many clubs.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Koreans as well, starting to get some interest in the women's as well. There's 1 or 2 Korean players playing in the top division in Victoria, so not just Japan.
Here's Spall giving chase. A good duel with Hampson, and Spall's just about got this in his possession. He plays it across to the top of the box, and Tratt sliding in, making the desperate clearance. Now, and we're talking about Japanese players. Probably Asahi Yokokawa for the Heidelberg United side's been the standout coming in from the Asian angle in Victorian football this season. Such a star player and a star acquisition he's been to their team, adding depth to midfield, and someone who can play as a 10 and an 8, maybe even a 6 as well. A really handy player.
Very much so. We have seen a lot of Japanese players in the New South Wales NPL over the years. We haven't seen that much in Victoria, but I think it's a market.
Spall with a last-ditch challenge to deny Kasumovic, who was about to go charging in on goal. In the foreground there, you can see Christos Theodorakopoulos stretching out the calves and the hamstrings. Perhaps a bit of cramp about to set in for him, and it's the kind of day where we might see a little bit of cramping from these players. Certainly match conditioning is there for these players at this time of the season, but they're not used to playing in the bright sunshine when it's 18, 19 degrees. This is a little bit different for them. Here's Salmon looking for options in the middle. He cuts it back. Oh, Brodie Boyce was there, and Basetto, and a good save from Condolian. Denying his mate Basetto, the old teammates. They would have made that save an attempt on goal at training many a time, and Hampson drags his shot wide.
What an opportunity, Basetto. He's got his hands on his head. He's disappointed. A great save by Condolian, but Basetto, a chance to get on the scoreboard right in front of family, friends, past club. What a moment, and he'll be disappointed in that. But just shows Condolian's reflexes, really. His abilities to really read those shots and the play, and fantastic save there. It's denying his former teammate.
Well, he's had an outstanding game, and who knows, you might just see Alex Condolian in the team of the week if he can keep the Oakleigh Cannons out for the rest of this game. He's had apart from that one Stefan Valentini moment. He's certainly had the better of this Oakleigh Cannons attack this afternoon. As we see Moreland City trying to get the ball back into the final third. It's been all Oakleigh Cannons the last 5 or 10 minutes. And here's Basetto again. He's got Salmon galloping down the left-hand side here. Good challenge, Ailey. Newman Ailey is getting better and better as this game goes on, as he charges upfield, directing the traffic ahead of him. 1-2 with Akuno. Theodore Akopoulos. Game becoming more and more stretched as we head towards the last 20 minutes of action this afternoon on a warm afternoon in Melbourne in August.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Ali, very good at defending duels and marking back, and also confident in bringing the ball forward. An exciting talent, and hopefully we'll see more of him next season.
Here's Canatelli taking on his man in Boyce. Barney Boyce had an opportunity only moments ago as well to score what would have been a rare goal for him. He hasn't scored this season in any competition, the defender. Here comes Valentini. Suitsides. He's a hard man to beat in a one-on-one duel as well. Michael Suitsides.
Works very hard, Suitsides. Doesn't want to be beaten one-on-one and just really wants to stop any striker or winger or anyone running at him, and that's part of his forte. He's not a super attacking mindset or someone who provides distribution, but he's that hard-working defender that you need in the team to rely on to ensure that everybody is pulling their weight in defence, but also stopping the opportunities.
Looks like a sub coming up for Moreland City. But we mentioned about that +1 rule for the players from the Asian Confederation countries. It's something we haven't seen in the A-League yet, Peter, and I'm staggered that we haven't, to be honest.
I agree with you, being obviously in the agent space, and I see it, yes. Look, it's various reasons, and I can just break it down very quickly after this opportunity here.
Hampson sliding in. It's Theodore Akopoulos trying his luck. The shot was blocked by Tratt. Didn't get past the first man. Theodore Akopoulos might be just about running out of legs. He looks a little bit frustrated. He's put in a power of work out there to be that creative outlet for Moreland this afternoon. Kasumovic. Nice little reverse pass to Salmon, who is onside here, Alex Salmon. But again, he can't get past Newman Ailey, and he wins the ball once but not twice and gets a round of applause from the crowd in the grandstand here at CV Smith Reserve. Certainly everyone attending this match this afternoon, Moreland City's final home game of the season, they are enjoying what they're seeing this afternoon. They just need a goal to cap it off, to give them something nice to go home with, and that's a nice move by Canatelli. Look at the technical skills of this young man as he goes charging forward, running at that Oakleigh defence, and his shot was just over the bar. Brendan White was beaten. The shot was a little too high, and we're going to see a change here, but good play there from the youngster, Marco Canatelli.
Very exciting move there by Canatelli. Beat his man, really exciting, and just a good shot there. Took on the game, and that's important. That's the young players that we mentioned earlier. Maybe it's under 23 rule coming in, and 5 of them in the match day squad would allow these type of players to get those opportunities. But also interesting will be how Melbourne Victory, if they get into the, I would say, the NPL 1 or the NPL in Victoria, what kind of players they will have, and they will have a lot of young exciting players. But you mentioned Japanese and Korean players. One of the reasons that the A-League doesn't get as many is also the top players, not just from those two countries, from Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, if I can go close to our region, even Indonesia now, all of them are paid very high salaries. And the A-League salary, whether it's scholarship or a little bit higher, is not that high. At entry levels 80, 90, we've got high tax here too. So it's not that easy to get those type of good players in the A-League without a better offer.
That certainly helps make sense of things, Peter, with that particular situation. Has seen a volley of substitutions take place. Matt Spall and Dean Waters have both come off for Moreland City. You can see Kerr Rob, one of the fresh legs, coming on into a defensive role. Looks like he's lining up at right back. Also, Aligan Kifle lining up in central midfield. Another versatile player who started as a fullback in their last league outing. And here's a chance for Jacob Aliopoulos, who's making his return, just coming on off the bench. Well, getting a free role to play as a midfielder here, the player who normally plays in central defence, Jacob Aliopoulos, and good to see him back from the honeymoon, a trip to Europe. So congratulations to him on his recent wedding taking place earlier in the year, his marriage, should I say, and enjoying a trip. And looks like he's brought the weather back from Europe with him as well, Peter.
Yeah, I assume he probably went to Europe or maybe Southeast Asia. Not sure about that, but he'll also add depth to Oakleigh's final campaign. A very experienced player to bring back onto your roster, so very important. Good to give him some game time pre-finals.
They've got plenty of defensive options within their side as well. There's also no Emlyn Wellsmore, who's played at fullback a fair bit this season as well out there today. Also no Kingsley Sinclair, who's also played a bit of football at fullback this season. But Aliopoulos, given that there's Tratt and Hall both out there to experienced defenders, Aliopoulos looks like he's lining up as a number 6 alongside Cam McGilp, and those two combined there. McGilp now. Salmon back to goal. In fact, it's Valentini. Turns to face forward. Holmes. It's getting physical out there. It's going to be a free kick. Lockie Keever's signalling set piece opportunity here for the Oakleigh Cannons, just to try and put some pressure on this Moreland City defence and get that second goal to give them that comfortable cushion that they can relax a little bit, because Moreland City, as long as they're in this game, they're always a chance of levelling things up, you fancy. They've had a couple of chances this afternoon that they've let go. They've gone begging, and well, perhaps the next chance might be snatched at and put away, and then Oakleigh will be kicking themselves, because that finals race for teams trying to at least get a home final in the elimination week of the finals after round 26 is very competitive, with Hume City and the Heidelberg side in there as well. It's going to be the direct route here to be taken at goal. Perhaps it's drilled in and it's over the top by Kasumovic. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo was the inspiration, I think, behind that one, but the execution, not quite what Kasumovic was after.
Yes, Stephen, we love ambition. We love players who take on other players. That's the excitement of, I would say, the NPL. We've got a lot of talented players here, as we've seen with the big wins in terms of the Australia Cup.
Well, here they go again, the Cannons, and another good save from Kondolian to deny a really good attempt that time by Asad Kasumovic, and Kondolian with two hands up and parried it away and keeps that scoreline at that narrowest of margins, 1-0. Stefan Valentini's strike separating the two sides, which has been the case for 66 minutes now.
Yeah, Kondolian really just very, very reflex-type keeper. And it's interesting that people say Oakleigh got a lot of experienced players, but if you go back and see, as I mentioned earlier, the 45 young players to watch in the NPL this year, 6 of them or 5 of them are in this squad. I mean, especially for Oakleigh, Munid Adus, we've got Boyce, we've got Noah Holmes, Asad Kasumovic, and you mentioned Wellsmore earlier too.
In comes the corner, it's driven in, and it almost beat everybody. Suit Seed is going to pick up the loose ball at the back post and send it forward. And here's the youngster striding forward, Canatelli, and a good challenge by the recovering defender, which was Brody Boyce, who made up some ground there. Canatelli and Brody Boyce, a couple of really exciting players from NPL Victoria to go on with that theme that you were just mentioning, Peter.
Yes, Boyce has impressed me today, and I've seen him in a few games, and really someone who really has come up this year, and that's exciting to see.
Brody Boyce still just 23 years of age, or 22 should I say. The ball played into the box is taken by White.
There is actually a narrative in youth development and football development in Australia that Australian players mature a little bit later. 19, 20, 21. So we're seeing a lot of 21s, 22s, 20, a lot of talent coming through at that age, not just at the younger ages.
Well, Oakleigh Cannons looking for that goal to kill the game off, and that one took off like a rocket. I'm not sure what the intention was.
A bit sloppy, Oakleigh. I mean, the couple of opportunities, we mentioned Kasumovic earlier, had that shot, and yet again another one. Not really closing out the match. Yes, they've taken control in the second half, but with the X-Factor players, Theodorokopoulos, I think Diego Kuba is off. Ukono's still on, and Moreland may be still in this.
Moreland trying to play their way through this Cannons defensive structure, and it's Thargiath now in possession. Switching the play out wide left, but it's well read again, this time by Boyce, playing it forward. Well, he had options left and right there and couldn't pick out anyone in a navy shirt. Here's Aligan Kiflay, the sub, combining with Kerr Rob, 2 subs linking up. And another one as well. Suresh scored in their last outing. An exciting player, Rahul Suresh, gets the ball in and causes a bit of havoc in the Oakleigh Cannons defence, and the ball is sliced behind by Jacob Tratt, and it'll be a corner for Moreland to try and put some more pressure on the players in white, and the goalkeeper Brendan White as well.
Yes, Suresh showing a bit of pace and agility and link-up play, and just come on, and someone who was recruited mid-season, showing that something different for Moreland.
It's going to be Rahul Suresh with the outswinger here. Decent ball in, away by Tratt. Karamad goes to ground. Is there a free kick for Moreland? There is. So a chance from the set piece opportunity here, and we must make mention that there has been another goal down the road at Avenger Park, Peter, as well, and it has been scored by Avondale, and they've tied things up at 1-1. So the grandstand finish to come there. Christian Trojczewski on 53 minutes. The midfield has been in excellent scoring form since returning from that leg fracture that he suffered against the Dandenong Thunder in the first half of the season. Hadn't scored before he was injured, and he hasn't stopped scoring since he was injured. Or since he returned from injury, should I say. Now there's 3 in the wall here for the Cannons. It's Karamad's ball into the back post, and it's come off an Oakleigh Cannons player last. It'll be a corner kick.
Nice ball there. And you mentioned Trojczewski. I was speaking to him earlier at an Avondale function. I think it was for the juniors, and really probably one of the best midfielders technically, technique-wise in the NPL. Very unlucky not to get an A-League contract. I mean, when he came back from Portugal, he was, Central Coast, he couldn't go because of COVID, the pandemic.
Here comes the corner. White came to claim, but couldn't make his tracks to reach the ball. Holmes, nice little ball forward, and it's Kasumovic charging forward again. That's well read by Shadir Thargiath. Now to play by Hampson. So Moreland, they've just found a gear here since those string of substitutions and the fresh legs.
Yeah, I think Thargiath's moved more into the midfield, inside. So, and he's got the speed, he's got the pace, he's got someone to worry Oakleigh, and really like to see him try a few more things. With Cuba on the bench, he's got a bit of a license to come in the midfield and really get behind the Oakleigh midfield as well. It's just, and he just showed there what he can do.
His suit seat is. Well, you hope you're enjoying this. This is an exciting finish here at CV Smith Reserve, wherever you're tuning in from. Steve Curtin and Peter Paleologus talking you through this one. Players are tiring out there and the game becoming more and more stretched, and I hope you're certainly enjoying the last 10 minutes or so of this one. A big hello to Joel in East Geelong, who's enjoying this one on a sunny afternoon down there by Corio Bay.
I'm sure there's a lot. It's interesting that I had a look at some of the NPL streaming stats, and for a lot of matches, they're quite impressive. So you'd be surprised. Some people say, the crowds in here, there, everywhere are not always that high, depending on the match. But there's a lot of people watching on streaming and enjoying the NPL, and all our commentators. We've got fantastic commentators in Victoria, exciting, including yourself, Stephen, not to plug, and we, it's good football, and it's honest football, and we're seeing a lot of new talents.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's always a pleasure to be working alongside you. The insight that you bring as well from the agent's perspective is certainly something that our fans really, really enjoy from what I've heard from the feedback, and also when we've got great videographers as well, such as Camillo behind the camera today, giving you a great look at the action, albeit with difficult circumstances to film in today, giving you the best view from the comfort of your own home if you weren't able to make it out here to Fawkner this afternoon. Inside the final 10 minutes here, and it's all to play for. This is Alex Salmon running at that Moreland City defence. He's got Kasumovic in support, and he just couldn't wrap his foot around that one. Tried to beat Condolin at his near post, and it wasn't far away. Plenty of fizz on that shot, but it rocketed into the fencing behind the goal.
And Kasumovic, another chance there. Probably could have done a bit better. Went and had a glance at the referee saying there was a foul after his shot, but you're not going to get that. You get the opportunity, and unless it's a real foul, you might get a penalty, but nothing in that. Kasumovic will be disappointed.
Little 1-2 between Arob and Suresh, and Oakleigh all hands to the pump on the defensive duty. That ball refusing to go out of play. And there's a free kick there. Newman Ailey being fouled by Alex Salmon right in front of our broadcast position.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Moreland, but Ali and Suresh both impressed me. Haven't seen much of them this year, and hopefully we see them in NPL next year. They're kind of players that bring something to the game, and coming from the lower leagues, that's very exciting as well.
And if you are wondering about the next campaign for Moreland City, speaking to the officials today, they have informed us that their club's preference is to continue playing here at CV Smith Reserve rather than return to Campbell Reserve, where they were promoted from while playing in the NPL2 in 2022. What a day that was for the club when they defeated North Geelong by the solitary goal on the final day of the season to claim the title by just 1 point. Courtesy of a goal from Jamie Latham, now finds himself at Green Gully. And we have heard, Peter, that there's been a goal for Manningham United Blues against Heidelberg, which I think is good news for the Oakleigh Cannons, because that is one of the teams that are breathing down the neck of the Cannons in those positions from 3rd, 4th and 5th. So the top two will get a free pass into the second week of the finals. And at the moment, that does look like being certainly well and truly South Melbourne. And as it stands, it looks like Avondale will be in there. Oakleigh Cannons currently, as it stands, will be the top-ranked side in the teams hosting the elimination final. So Oakleigh would play the team that finishes in 6th, which may be Dandenong City, as it stands. In comes the corner at the near post. There's a congestion of bodies, and it's out of play again, harmlessly. So Moreland City looking to get the ball forward again through Condolian. Not quite last roll of the dice time, but certainly approaching that.
Yeah, Oakleigh, I mean, Chris Taylor will be looking for more game management. You're only 1-0 up. You probably need to control the game a little bit more, especially if you've got a few fast players here at Moreland, and on transition, quite dangerous. So really you want to see your players see out the game, maybe score a second, but it's about game management for Chris right at the moment.
Good interception by Kiflay, but he couldn't find Canatelli. Ball picked up by Jordan Hall, combining with Noah Holmes. Kasumovic is the target of this one, and it's going to stay in play in front of the assistant referee. It must have been very close to crossing the touchline. Sutsides, another typically strong tackle from him, and he plays the ball forward. Suresh goes to ground, and he wins the free kick.
Suresh quite smart there. The Oakleigh fans not happy. They thought maybe he milked it there, but definitely the foul was a bit high. And Suresh, second effort, try to control the play. We've got another substitution coming. But smart play to draw the foul because he did lose the ball, and Oakleigh were on the counter-attack.
Well, the patience of Munir Badous is going to pay off. He's going to get the last 3.5 minutes plus stoppages in this one. And there should be a few stoppages. There's been a few delays here and there in this second half. Players tiring. You can see Cam McGilp sitting down on the floor, stretching out the calves. He covers so much territory every match in midfield. And good choice by Chris Taylor to give the armband to, with the absence of Joe Guest, who's been rested today, the usual skipper. Munir Badous out there into the action, replacing aside Kasumovic, who's run his race for the afternoon.
Munir Badous, a very interesting player, was on the periphery of A-League, really tried at Western and really tried to get in there. Just maybe not an opportunity, but a very exciting player. I know he's injured this year, so that's limited a little bit his opportunity, but an exciting type. Can play as a wing-back, can play as a winger.
The Oakleigh Cannons, they're not far away. Only 3 wins in their last 8 in the league, which is kind of remarkable form, but it shows you how good they were in the first half to 2/3 of the season, picking up so many wins in that particular time. 14 wins from their 24 outings so far, and will that make it number 15 this afternoon? There's not long to go, but Moreland City are not going to die wondering here.
Yeah, it just shows the NPL. I mean, Moreland's in this game, and we saw, you just mentioned earlier, Manningham are 1-0 in front of Heidelberg. We'll recheck that result, but really both these teams at the bottom end are really putting up a fight right to the last game.
Ball into the box. It's flicked on by Sutsides. Brendan White taking the ball to ground and taking some seconds off the clock here as Oakleigh, this squad who's been refreshed a bit with 4 changes from their Doherty Cup final defeat after they went 120 minutes plus penalty kicks on Saturday, which was coming straight off the back of the win against Sydney FC in the round of 32 of the Australia Cup in that particular midweek as well. Can they kill it off here? Here's Aliopoulos. Boyce. Pressure from Akuno. Over on the Sydney Road side of the venue. It's going to be a free kick to the Cannons, and they'll be able to show some game management here as well, Peter.
Yeah, slow the game down a little bit because Moreland got a bit of speed. They've got speed to provide the option, especially on transition and get into possession, and they've got some movement in their team because especially Suresh has come on, Caterman as well. But slow the game down. You're only 1-0. It's not comfortable, but you've got to see the game out, especially a lot of the Oakleigh players will be quite tired, especially the ones that played at the Doherty Cup too.
Ball into the box. Sutsides read it best. First touch went up into the sky, though. He's able to find Thomas. Sutsides is going to go long this time. Succeeded in booting it into the Oakleigh Cannons technical area. And we await the 4th official to find out how much time will be added on at the end of the 90. James Langloya has the board ready to go. And you heard that through the FX mic as the accordion-style cyclone fencing tunnel has been pulled out to separate the fans and players at the end of this one.
One of the best tunnels in the NPL Victoria, I would say.
One of the noisiest, I would say, as well.
Yes. We're sitting here in the sun, so it's we can't see everything clear, but we can hear everything.
Here's Boyce. Salmon now. Mooney Badus. How he would love to grab a goal this afternoon to seal this win. Nice little turn as well. Little swivel in the ball, just ran away from him a touch with the fast feet. A deuce. Now Hampson, still full of running. Salmon with the turn. McGill is looking for his first of the season, and he tried his luck. It was blocked by Sutsides. Salmon, his shot was blocked as well. It's all gone a bit scrappy on the edge of the area. Well, the Oakleigh Cannons attacking. Moreland City hanging on. They're going to try and turn defence into attack here. And there's a tug of the shirt by Jacob Aliopoulos, and good refereeing. Lockie Keevers, he waves on the advantage. And Rahul Suresh is galloping on the right-hand side. It's blocked by Trapp. And it will be a goal kick. It had come back off the standing leg of Rahul Suresh, much to his disappointment. And they don't get the corner kick that they so eagerly wanted.
That was a quick transition that Moreland were looking for. Aliopoulos very lucky. Should have got a yellow card. They're definitely pulling the player, but that's experience. Been an experienced player trying to slow down Moreland. And Moreland be disappointed. That was probably the opportunity in the last, actually, extra time. It's gone so fast, Stephen.
That's right. The board has gone up from the 4th official, James Langloya. Over on the far side. So we didn't catch the actual amount of time added on, but we have played around 90 seconds of it already. So not too long to go here for the Oakleigh Cannons to get what would be a hard-fought 3 points in this particular clash. It'll make it 2 wins on the bounce in the league for them after that 3-1 win against the Melbourne Knights. Jack Edwards reserved 2 weeks ago in round 24. One remaining match against the Hume City side next Sunday afternoon. That one's back on their home deck. Jack Edwards, and here's a chance for Mounir Badus. He's got Kerr Arob to beat. Looks to go onto the left foot and blast it across the edge of the area, and the flag's up for offside against Alex Salmon. You fancy the play has to stop for that offside decision, but it looks like Lockie Keevers is going to give Moreland the advantage, and well, that might help Moreland get the ball up the other end of the pitch quicker. Here's Aligan Kifle. Arob. Sutsides stepping into midfield, but Moreland going backwards at the moment. That's not what they wanted.
Yeah, Oakleigh pressing a little bit more there just to try to dispossess Moreland in their defensive half, and that's a poor pass.
Sutsides' pass is well and truly off target there. Distribution, not the strong point of the defender on that occasion. Another chance for Mounir Badus. It was a good ball that he fired across the penalty area only about 20 seconds ago. This is McGill. Bit of space for Salmon. He's going to try his luck, and again he has his shot blocked. Suitsides, he hasn't been out there long, and he's blocked about 4 attempts on goal for the Cannons. And Akuno, he's been largely out of the game in this second half, giving chase, but only forlornly there as the ball ran through to Brendan White.
Yeah, Kuno will be disappointed there. He's just the last opportunity, just couldn't get to the ball. But you're right, Suitsides, that's 4 blocks. That's just amazing. Really just putting his body on the line.
Here's a deuce again. He's been the key outlet for the Oakleigh Cannons since coming on in the last 5 minutes. He fires it across, and Salmon is there. And at long last, he gets his goal that he so craved all afternoon. And Alex Salmon slots home, and a fine assist by Munir Badous, making an impact in the 5 minutes that he's had this afternoon. And Alex Salmon scores his 14th of the season. And, well, you know, perhaps maybe he can mount a late charge for the Golden Boot next week. But that's the end of proceedings here as Lockie Keevers sounds his whistle. A satisfying moment for Alex Salmon, who toiled. I don't know how many shots he had that were blocked, but he finally gets himself on the score sheet with the final kick of the match. And Alex Condolian has been fantastic in goal, but he's beaten for the second time with the last kick of the game. Yeah,
Condolian will be a little bit gutted that last goal. But Salmon's been all around it today. He's been in the box, created opportunities. He's played a bit on the left, played in the middle. He's really tried to step it up, and he deserved that goal. 14 now. I think he could be in second position behind Sawyer, and really well deserved. But you got to give credit to Munir Badous. Came in, changed the game. They looked a bit tired towards the end there, Oakleigh, and showed what he can provide, especially in this finals campaign. As I mentioned earlier, he was on the periphery of the A-League, so he's still got something. Oakleigh coming off, I think they'll be relieved. Stephen?
Well, not out there for a huge celebration. Alex Salmon was the first man down the tunnel after scoring that goal with the last kick of the game. But who knows, if he can snag a hat-trick in the final game of the season next Sunday against Hume City, maybe he can topple Harrison Sawyer and claim the Golden Boot, or at least equal that tally of the South Melbourne talisman. But a good performance, a professional performance from Chris Taylor's men in the end. But Moreland City, Dave Ostojic, their last game on home soil for season 2024. They weren't disgraced this afternoon, and they were unlucky not to perhaps have grabbed a goal to level things up. But the longer it went, the more you thought Alex Salmon was eventually going to breach that defence, and finally he did with the last kick of the game.
Yeah, Moreland tried things this half. Ostojic won a very good coach, try to push a couple of players forward, but at the end of the day, Oakleigh have got a lot of options. That's what the NPL is about. Got 4 or 5 attacking options. Someone's going to be able to do something, and that's Oakleigh, who I think are up for the finals. Both South Melbourne, because it is finals campaign, not necessarily the top team always wins it. Both Avondale and South Melbourne, which will get a quick result very shortly, Steve. We'll worry about Oakleigh because Oakleigh have got a lot of depth.
That's right. Well, looking around the grounds, it is still locked at 1-1 at Avenger Park. So Avondale and South Melbourne look like they're going to share the points, and that result will give South Melbourne the title for the premiers of season 2024 this afternoon at Avondale's pitch as well. So a special moment for South Melbourne if that is to play out. And Heidelberg United, I can report, they love a late goal. Well, they've come back to level things up against Manningham United Blues, and that'll be gutting for Manningham because Leo Mazes has scored in the 97th minute, Peter, to level things up there at Petty's Reserve out there in Melbourne's northeast. So a result there that looks like it will finish at 1-1 in both of those other games this afternoon if there is no more late drama. And the referee's whistle probably poised to sound in both of those particular fixtures. But that will probably mean that Manningham United will finish second bottom. And by all reports, from what we understand, we still can't say it officially, but that will probably condemn them to second-tier football next season, as well as Moreland City. But it's been an entertaining season for Manningham. They've come up from the second tier, and they haven't tried to park the bus. They've played expansive football, and they've added a lot to the competition, and I think the neutrals have really appreciated that. Yeah,
I think people underestimated Manningham. They had a bit of a rough start, but really they played some fantastic football, as Moreland did today. We can't underestimate those teams. Maybe they're towards the bottom, but Manningham, and also some new players came to the fore in the NPL through Manningham, and that's important. But you also mentioned Leo Mazes, ex-Celtic, got that late goal. So really, if you look at the NPL, and I don't want to harp on it, but there's so much talent and looking forward to next year if the second division doesn't happen with those rule changes. And we may even have two powerhouses coming into the NPL. Melbourne Victory, we do see that in Sydney with their A-League teams having their under-23s in the top NPL division. We saw that in Adelaide. Adelaide United under-21s, I believe, won the title last year. But here, having Melbourne Victory, that's a bit of a game changer. And maybe Preston, who we know is a huge club. I don't want to take anything away from Northcote because I know a lot of the Northcote players and coaches. So best of luck who actually gets promoted. But stick with NPL. If there's no B League, that's not a insight. That's just an observation if it does happen that way.
That's right. Well, plenty to be excited about for the Moreland City fans who tune in. Their team, young players putting in a good performance this afternoon. They'll play Dandenong Thunder in their final game of the campaign next Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock for the Cannons. It's a home match against the Hume City side, so that will be a hotly contested match that will shape the way the first week of the finals plays out, but it looks like both of those sides will be playing in the elimination final week in the first week of the finals. Of course, as you mentioned, Peter, Oakleigh Cannons will play Heidelberg United in round 16 of the Australia Cup, so stay tuned as to when that one is to take place as well. And the other key fixture that we're waiting to hear will be that match between the Melbourne Knights and Dandenong Thunder. When that actually takes place, I would imagine that will be kicking off at Knight Stadium on Tuesday or Wednesday evening, and that will certainly play a big role into who finishes in the 6th spot on the table and maybe who Oakleigh Cannons play in the first week of the finals.
Yeah, hopefully they sort out their shirts and the tops and they bring second ones, completely different colours. Let's not stick to the red. I think it was a pink, the alternative shirt. Doesn't really matter. The bottom line is let's keep it different and get that game going so go into the final round. But the final round will be interesting. We don't have, I think, relegation sorted. Most of the finals are sorted, depending, maybe 3rd to 6th still up for grabs. But more importantly, we've got a finals campaign, and with the teams like Oakleigh, South Melbourne, Avondale, a really good team, Heidelberg, I won't discount anybody else. But we've got a big finals campaign because all these teams are also in the Australia Cup, besides Avondale, of course. And then Hume, can't underestimate them.
We're looking forward to catching you, Peter Paleologus, in the finals campaign. It's going to be an exciting campaign, and those top 6 sides are going to be fantastic. And we've done our best to stall until the full-time scores have come out. They haven't, but Heidelberg United have scored again in stoppage time. So 2 stoppage time goals. They scored in stoppage time here 3 weeks ago to get the win against Moreland City. They've done it again. They've scored twice in stoppage time this afternoon. We haven't got a full time from Avondale, but we will assume